Haunted by guilt and regret after losing a patient, Dr. Jessica embarked on an uncharted path, taking unexpected actions that pushed the boundaries of medical ethics. Dr. Jessica Brown was haunted by the memories of Ethan's death, a talented artist and her close friend. Ethan had been battling a rare illness that puzzled the medical community, and despite Jessica's relentless efforts, she couldn't save him. His passing left her with a deep sense of guilt and failure. At Ethan's funeral, she encountered Maria, Ethan's younger sister, whose words were like a dagger to her heart. "You were supposed to save him. You were his last hope, Jessica." "He believed in you and you let him die," Maria said, her voice laced with bitterness. "How can you call yourself a doctor when you couldn't save him? You're nothing but a failure." The words echoed in Jessica's mind long after the funeral, reinforcing the heavy burden she carried. Unable to shake off the guilt, Jessica withdrew from her work at the bustling Chicago hospital. The once familiar surroundings felt suffocating, each hallway a reminder of her perceived failure. She sought refuge at her family's secluded cabin in the woods of Wisconsin, hoping the solitude would provide clarity. Yet in the quiet isolation, the weight of her emotions only grew heavier. One stormy evening, as rain pounded against the cabin windows, Jessica found herself drawn to the attic, where she stumbled upon a dusty box of her grandfather's journals. These journals detailed rare diseases and experimental treatments that mirrored Ethan's symptoms. Jessica's heart skipped a beat as she realized her grandfather might have been onto something. Among the journals was a case study from the 1960s that resonated deeply with Ethan's condition. The case had been dismissed as an anomaly, but to Jessica, it represented a thread of hope. Her grandfather's notes were meticulous, exploring unconventional treatments that modern medicine had overlooked. This newfound information ignited a flicker of determination within her. Returning to Chicago with a renewed sense of purpose, Jessica approached Dr. Mark Thompson, a respected researcher known for his cutting-edge work. She hoped to gain his support in exploring this potential cure. But Mark was dismissive, his words dripping with condescension. "Jessica? Chasing these old wives' tales? Come on, get real," he scoffed, clearly amused by her desperation. "You couldn't save Ethan, and now you're grasping at straws. Accept it." Mark's dismissive attitude felt like a slap in the face. The doubt and ridicule only fueled her determination. With a heavy heart but resolute spirit, Jessica realized she had to forge her own path without the backing of influential colleagues like Mark. Determined to prove them wrong, Jessica assembled a small team of passionate and dedicated researchers who shared her vision. They dove into the project, fueled by a shared desire to make a difference. The work was demanding, and the pressure to succeed weighed heavily on Jessica's shoulders. The fear of failing yet another patient haunted her every move. Among the patients in her trial was Lily Johnson, a single mother of 2 young children. Lily's case was particularly heartbreaking. She was the sole breadwinner for her family, and the illness threatened not only her life, but also the well-being of her children. Jessica felt a deep connection to Lily, recognizing the immense responsibility she carried not just as a doctor, but as someone whom Lily trusted with her life. During their initial meeting, Lily's vulnerability was palpable. Her eyes, tired but hopeful, met Jessica's. "I've heard about you, Dr. Brown. They say you never give up on your patients. I need you to help me. My kids need me," Lily said, her voice trembling with emotion. Jessica felt the weight of Lily's trust settle heavily on her shoulders. Jessica knew that if she couldn't save Lily, she wouldn't just be failing as a doctor. She'd be shattering the fragile hope of a family fighting to stay together. Each day in the lab was a battle against time and uncertainty. Jessica's team faced numerous challenges, from lack of funding to the skepticism of peers. Yet, they persevered, driven by the potential impact of their work. Then one afternoon, as Jessica sifted through medical journals and research papers, she received a mysterious letter. It was unmarked, the handwriting unfamiliar. Inside, a chilling message warned her to cease her research immediately. The letter hinted at a powerful pharmaceutical company with vested interests in maintaining the status quo, suggesting that her pursuit of a cure was a threat to their profits. The letter implied that not only her career, but also her personal safety could be at risk. The letter rattled Jessica, but it also steeled her resolve. The idea that her work could unsettle such powerful forces only confirmed the significance of her research. She understood the risks, but knew she couldn't back down. Lily's life, and the lives of countless others, depended on her perseverance. As Jessica shared the contents of the letter with her team, a sense of unease settled over them. But instead of succumbing to fear, they grew more determined. The team's bond strengthened as they rallied around their shared mission. They understood that the stakes were high and the pressure immense, but the potential to change lives kept them moving forward. As their research progressed, Jessica uncovered a significant lead. They identified a genetic marker linked to the illness, a discovery that opened new avenues for treatment. The breakthrough was a beacon of hope, illuminating the path forward. But the joy was short-lived. One evening, as Jessica and her team were finalizing a critical piece of the research, they discovered that their data had been tampered with. Important information was missing, and the remaining data had been corrupted. The sabotage was a stark reminder of the opposition they faced. This setback was devastating, but Jessica refused to be deterred. Instead, she doubled down on her efforts, pouring her heart and soul into the work. The sense of urgency grew stronger, fueled by the knowledge that Lily's condition was deteriorating. The stakes were higher than ever, and failure was not an option. As Lily's health worsened, Jessica spent more time with her, forging an even deeper connection. Lily's resilience and trust were sources of strength for Jessica, reminding her of the importance of her mission. One evening, as Jessica sat by Lily's bedside, Lily grasped her hand and whispered, "I trust you, Dr. Brown. I know you're doing everything you can. I just want to see my kids grow up." The words lingered in Jessica's mind long after she left the hospital room. They were a reminder of the personal stakes involved, the lives hanging in the balance. Jessica felt the weight of Lily's trust and the enormity of the task at hand. The fear of failure was palpable, but it was also a powerful motivator. She couldn't afford to let Lily down. Despite the challenges and the mounting pressure, Jessica and her team continued their work. The breakthroughs were hard-won, but each small success added to their momentum. They navigated the complexities of the research with precision and care, fueled by a shared determination to find a cure. As the research progressed, Jessica found herself reflecting on her journey. The path had been fraught with obstacles, but the progress they had made was undeniable. Patients who had once faced hopeless diagnoses were now experiencing improvements. The hope that had seemed so elusive was finally within reach. The culmination of their efforts came with the announcement of the clinical trial results. The treatment showed significant promise, and the medical community took notice. Jessica's work was recognized as a breakthrough, a beacon of hope for patients and families affected by the illness. One day, as Jessica attended a conference, she noticed Mark Thompson watching her intently from the back. Their eyes locked for a moment, sending a ripple of curiosity and unease through her. As the conference ended, Thompson started walking toward Jessica, leaving her to wonder what was on his mind and if he still held any grudges. "Jessica," Mark said, his voice almost lost in the bustle, "can we talk for a moment?" Jessica turned to him, her expression a blend of curiosity and wariness. "Of course, Mark. What's on your mind?" Mark took a deep breath, his usually confident demeanor replaced by a touch of vulnerability. "I owe you an apology," he began, his gaze steady. "I underestimated you and your work. I was wrong, and I regret how dismissive I was." Jessica's eyes softened, surprise flickering across her features. "Thank you, Mark. It wasn't easy, but we got there in the end." Mark nodded, a look of genuine respect in his eyes. "Your determination and the results of your work are nothing short of extraordinary. You've accomplished what many thought was impossible." "I appreciate that," Jessica replied, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. "It means a lot to hear you say that." Mark continued, "If there's anything I can do to support your continued efforts, you can count on me. I see now how important your work is, and I want to be a part of it." Jessica extended her hand, her smile warm and sincere. "Thank you, Mark. I'm glad we're on the same page now." As they shook hands, a sense of mutual respect and understanding formed between them, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their professional relationship. Jessica felt a weight lift off her shoulders, knowing that even her harshest critic had come to see the value in her dedication and vision. After the conference, Jessica made her way to the hospital, feeling a mix of exhaustion and hope. As she entered Lily's room, her heart lifted at the sight of Lily sitting up, looking stronger and healthier than before. Lily's children were playing nearby, their laughter filling the room with warmth and joy. Jessica smiled, deeply moved by the transformation and relief evident in Lily's eyes. "Dr. Brown," Lily said, her voice warm with appreciation, "I don't even know where to begin. You saved my life." Jessica smiled, pulling a chair closer to Lily's bed. "You don't have to thank me, Lily. You were the reason we kept pushing forward, the reason we couldn't give up." Tears welled in Lily's eyes as she reached out to take Jessica's hand. "I was so scared," she confessed, her voice trembling slightly. "I was afraid of leaving my children without a mother. But you gave me hope when I thought there was none left." Jessica squeezed Lily's hand gently. "Your strength inspired me too. It reminded me of why I started this journey. You showed such courage, and I'm so grateful we were able to find a solution in time." Lily glanced at her children, her heart full of emotion. "Because of you, I get to watch them grow up. I get to be there for all their milestones, their birthdays, their graduations. That means everything to me." "I'm just glad I could play a part in your story," Jessica replied, her voice filled with sincerity. "Seeing you healthy and with your family makes all those long nights and setbacks worth it." Lily's eyes glistened with tears of gratitude as she nodded. "You're not just a doctor, Jessica. You're a miracle worker. You've given me a second chance at life, and I'll never be able to thank you enough for that." Jessica chuckled softly, wiping a tear from her own eye. "Your smile is thanks enough, Lily. It's moments like these that remind me why I chose this path. Seeing you with your kids is the best reward I could ask for." As Lily's children ran over to hug their mother, Jessica felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The room was filled with warmth, love, and the promise of a brighter future for Lily and her family. Jessica established a foundation dedicated to advancing research and supporting patients, a lasting tribute to Ethan's memory and a testament to her commitment to finding a cure. The foundation provided resources for further research and support for families navigating the challenges of rare illnesses. As Jessica stood on the precipice of new discoveries, she understood that her work was far from over. The journey had transformed her, and the lessons she had learned would guide her as she continued to explore new frontiers in medical research. In the end, Jessica's legacy was one of resilience and hope. She had faced her fears, challenged the status quo, and persevered in the face of adversity. Her story was a testament to the power of determination and the enduring impact of one person's unwavering commitment to making a difference.